Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that, and also if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well, if there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2023 related video here on my channel, and the second one that I am filming and uploading today being Friday the 12th of May 2023. Earlier on I reacted to the grand final running order of this year's edition of the Eurovision Song Contest, and right now I'm going to be looking back at last night's second semi-final and looking ahead to tomorrow night's big grand final, which will take place live from Liverpool in the UK on behalf of current champions Ukraine. I'll also be telling you my very rough, emphasis on very rough, prediction for the grand final results. As always, you're very welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment. That's always nice to see. And as always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. Later on, I'll also be talking a little bit about what's going to be happening for me personally tomorrow, because as I've mentioned previously, I will be in Liverpool, down the road from where the action is actually happening. So stick around for that if you're interested. Right now though, let's get going, because this could be a very long rambling video from me, and I've spoken about these songs so many times on my channel already, but here we go again. Last night's second semi-final. Well, I don't think the quality was nearly as high as semi-final one, but I think a lot of Eurovision fans expected that. I certainly did. Some of the performances were very good, some maybe not up to scratch. The hosts, they were fine. Out of the three women, and you know, they're doing a perfectly alright job, I would say that Hannah Waddingham is the star of the show, more so than Yulia Sanina and Alicia Dixon. But it is what it is. The postcards are good. I don't think I've mentioned them yet. I think they're very good, showing locations in Ukraine, the upcoming artists' own country, and locations in Britain, which is very nice. I don't think we've had one in Northern Ireland yet. Or have we? Not entirely sure. Doesn't really matter. We'll find out soon enough. What else is there to say? Peppa Pig made an appearance last night for completely unknown reasons. Some of the VTs have been rather odd, I must say. Some of the humour isn't quite bang on the money. But to be honest, I'm not really paying attention to what the hosts are saying anyway. I am more interested in the songs, and indeed tomorrow night, the all-important results. So let's go through semi-final 2. Denmark opened the show. I should say 16 nations were involved. They all voted alongside Spain, Ukraine and the UK and the rest of the world. So yes, Denmark, NQ, yet again. Riley with Breaking My Heart. His issue, or rather my issue, and indeed the issue for many other Eurovision fans regarding this particular track, was his voice. And they sort of fixed this a little bit by reducing the vocoder element in the chorus. That was a nice move. However, at least to me last night, his vocals still weren't strong enough. They were better, they were perfectly okay to listen to, but I don't think that they were remotely strong enough. Plus, he was opening the show. Did this really have much memorability to it? I don't know. He had that revolving wall structure on stage. Did that really add anything to the performance? I'm not sure he did. Some of the camera angles maybe a bit on the dodgy side. There was that moment at the start where he scribbled on the camera pretty much. Did that really work? I'm not sure it did. Anyway, I still thought it was an alright performance, and I liked the song. But alas, he did not go through, and that's another final, 3 finals in a row now, in which Denmark have not been involved. The last time they were in a Eurovision final was with Leonora in 2019, so what a shame. I've read a few things already today about Riley after the results came in last night. I didn't look into it too much. To be honest, I don't really care. What's done is done. But I think there's some mumblings going on in the background about exactly what happened and why Denmark didn't go through. DMGP will be exactly the same next year. You know what's coming a mile off. I do think it is a format, though, that needs a good kick up the butt, because 3 years with no final. That's really disappointing for Denmark. Maybe next year something completely out of left field. Anyway, a bit of a shame. I didn't predict Denmark to go through, but there we are. Let's leave Armenia and move on to Romania. Theodor Andre with DGT Off and On. Well, this was really veering into car crash territory for me. The performance started off acoustically, and to be honest, a full acoustic performance of this song wouldn't have been too bad. Yes, it would have been dead on arrival perhaps, but it didn't sound too bad. And look, Theodor is a good singer. What a shame his song wasn't up to scratch. That was the disappointment. He wasn't the problem. His broadcaster back home apparently not supporting him. Absolutely disgraceful. Visually, this wasn't good enough. The sort of naked bodies on the stage floor, pretty much. And then his girlfriend, I think it is, on the backdrop. And this lava imagery as well. What was going on? There wasn't any real cohesion to this. And I'm not really sure who came up with the ideas for the visuals in general. If it was him, okay, I'll cut the guy some slack. But at the same time, I'm thinking, this is really not standing out at all. And the crowd were dead, and this song, okay, they did try and spruce it up a little bit, but still pretty much dead on arrival. And no final for Romania this year. There's even talk of them withdrawing next year. Then we have Iceland. Oh boy, what a shame. Diljau with Power. She was really going for this, you could tell. Again, some of the camera angles a bit on the dodgy side. She had this platform on stage. Was that really needed? I'm not sure it was. Some of the dance moves did come across as a little awkward, which is interesting because at Songförkämpningen several months ago, they didn't really strike me as awkward then. This time, I don't know, maybe they weren't quite as fluid as they could have been. I don't know. I still really like this song, absolutely. One of my favourites of the year. It is my friend Peter's favourite of the year, and knowing him, he doesn't even know that Iceland didn't qualify last night, so I'll have to break the news to him later on. But what a shame. Great vocals, and to me, I am a little bit baffled more people didn't enjoy this one. I really don't know why more people didn't gravitate towards this one. Yes, nothing groundbreaking. Yes, playing it fairly safe perhaps. But at the same time, a decent tune. Then we have Greece. Oh dear, dear me. Again, the singer, not a problem. 16 years of age and he wrote the song himself. Credit where credit's due. But the performance, pretty pants, I'm not going to lie. Visually uninspired. Don't really remember much about it. We had lettering on the backdrop. There was smoke. He was sitting on the stage floor. That's a running theme this year. His vocals sounded better last night than they did in the rehearsal clip, but it just wasn't enough. Not enough support. Cyprus might have given him 12 points, but who else would have given him points? Not many, clearly. Moving on to Georgia. Ooh, well, Georgia yet again. An NQ, and this is a shame. It's not one of my favourite songs of the year. Not at all, but I like it more than I did a few weeks ago, that's for sure. Great singer, Iru. Nicely staged. I thought this looked really, really good. But then I thought to myself, does it really stand out? Is there much buzz surrounding this song? Maybe not. And the neutral viewer, the neutral listener, is this the sort of thing they're going to look at and say, yeah, that deserves me calling up and voting for it? Probably not. And you may have to say, even before we know the semi-final results, we may have to say that this is the flop of the year. Because when it was released, so many people were ranking this very highly, and now look at what's happened. Georgia missing out on the final yet again. A real shame. A real shame. I read a comment on social media late last night. What more have Georgia got to do? Well, this was a step in the right direction, so they've just got to keep going in this right direction. As for Song 12, San Marino, they did the best job they possibly could. Peaked Jacks with Like an Animal, but in the end, didn't live long in the memory. Much stronger songs, and Austria were up next, so It was inevitable. They were lacking support. They probably expected to not qualify themselves. But at least they can walk away from this knowing that they did a pretty good job. You know, it wasn't a disaster of a performance. Far from it. Anyway, that was semi-final 2. So we had 10 qualifiers. And we now know the running order for the grand final. 26 countries are involved, including Ukraine and the UK, of course, etc., etc. And every single country will vote, including those that didn't qualify, along with the rest of the world. So let's get through this then. I'll try and be brief, because I have spoken about these songs so much now. But let me know what you think. Song 1 is Austria. Well, Austria had a very slim chance of winning this year's contest before the semi-final took place. Now they have an even slimmer chance of winning this year's contest. Let's be realistic. They ain't winning, and they're probably not coming close to winning, considering that they're opening the show. But it's a good start to proceedings. I thought the performance last night wasn't bad. Visually fairly strong. The choreography, very similar to how it is in the music video, but maybe toned down a touch. Lots of red. Edgar Allan Poe's face at the end. Vocally, okay, I guess. This is, of course, Who the Hell is Edgar by Taya and Selena. And, yeah, it's a good song. I like it. It's super catchy. That po, 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 po refrain definitely gets stuck in your head. I went to bed last night, and that was in my head. I'm thinking, am I ever going to get to sleep? Po, 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 po. Seriously, it really is an earworm. I think the juries will be fairly indifferent towards this one. The public, on the other hand, there will be a reasonable amount of love for it. And it's the first time Austria are in the final for a good few years. Song 2, The Death Spot, surprisingly goes to Portugal. This is Mimi Cat with Ai Coração. Okay, visually this could be a hell of a lot better. They're not using the LED screens much, that's the issue. It is what it is. What's done is done. Mimi Cat's a great singer, great performer, great energy, really likeable. The song is so bouncy, it's this sort of burlesque, cabaret-type number. It's in the Portuguese language. Fantastic. And the crowd really seemed to respond warmly to this on Tuesday evening as well. That's great. However, performing second is never easy, and there are better songs this year. So anywhere in mid-table would be a fair, perfectly fine result for Portugal this year. As for Song 3, Switzerland, well, 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 this is good stuff. Remo Fora, one of the best vocalists this year in my opinion, with Watergun, lyrically great. I think this is beautiful. There's smoke, red lighting, pyros coming down from the ceiling, ribbons as well, coming out from his waist, I think. I can't quite remember, it was only the other day. But this is executed so nicely. And they've done a really good job here, because I did wonder how this was going to be staged, but it's staged in a fairly decent, fairly memorable manner. The juries will love this. They will love this. When I was doing my prediction very late last night, I thought, look, I've got to be realistic here. Switzerland is going to finish above some of the other big favourites, in my opinion, with the juries. I can really see it happening. To me, this is a bit of a jury bait song, but the public hopefully aren't going to totally dismiss it. It is decent stuff, and they've done a really good job in trying to make this stand out from the field. But he's on early. Song 4 is Poland. Well, some controversy here. Poland going through last night instead of Georgia. I'm sure the diaspora played a part. Somebody on social media said, why has Georgia not gone through but Poland has? Well, my answer is that everybody who's Polish but doesn't live in Poland might well have voted for this. It's Blanka with solo. Look, is it top quality? No, it is not. It's cheap. It's cheap! But it's fairly enjoyable cheapness. I'm trying not to sound rude here. I thought she did a pretty good job last night. The elevation here is pretty damn high. From that national final performance to what we had last night, much, much better. They've gone for this summery theme. There's pyro, there's a dance break, because why the hell not? She looks good, sounding better than she did at the national final, no doubt about it. How much she's relying on backing vocals, I don't really know. But this isn't going to be totally brushed to one side. Saying that, you'll see my prediction in a few moments. But I have to say, look, I like it more than I did. It's as simple as that. It's catchy stuff. And the dance break may well have helped her over the line in the end. As for song 5, Serbia, I do wonder about the jury mark for this one. Oh, it could be a bit stinky. This is Luke Black with Samo mi se spava. Dark, gloomy, moody, mysterious, ominous, scary, etc. He's in this flower thing at the start, and then he's sort of getting a bit frantic, and there's guys with backpacks and smokes coming out, and it's all a bit bizarre. But it's a fairly decent tune, and always likely to progress through to the final. That's exactly what happened. He's on fairly early, but I think there will be a decent amount of love going his way. As for France, okay, this is the first major contender. I'm ignoring Austria a little bit here. The first major contender for the win is France, song 6, Lazara with Évidemment. Now, I haven't seen the performance that's on YouTube, because I'm saving that for tomorrow night when it happens live. She is a pretty good singer, and she looks great. She looks absolutely great, performing on top of this plinth structure, and the French flag with the lights, and the falling rain pyros. This is looking really good. It's giving off winner vibes, just a touch, but she's not going to win. She's on 6th. Other songs are getting more buzz. The juries will love this. The public not quite as much. As a result, you're probably looking at somewhere realistically between 5th and 10th in the final. If not lower, I wouldn't be shocked. I think this is more likely to do worse than we expect than win. But what a really nice, pretty classy entry from the French this year. And then we have Cyprus. Andrew Lambrou, Break a Broken Heart. So, he's a good singer. No doubt about it. He is hitting those big notes more often than not, which is nice. The staging, there's not really much to it. He's alone on stage. It's quite bare. There's not really much to remember here. On the backdrop, you've got this rain effect, and then you've got fire, and then you've got flames around the B stage. That's nice. It's not totally forgettable, but there's still something lacking for me. Nevertheless, again, it's a song that isn't going to be completely forgotten about when the voting lines open. And also, he's guaranteed points from Greece and Australia. So, no nul point for Cyprus this year whatsoever. As for Spain, song 8, this is top quality. It's top quality. Blanca Paloma, Si, with Ella. This is just wonderful. I can't believe I like this song as much as I do. But that's the thing about Eurovision. You are just exposed to these new styles of music. And before you know it, you're probably really enjoying those styles of music. That's exactly what's happened here. This sort of flamenco, very traditionally Spanish-sounding track. I think she's wonderful. I think her voice is absolutely sublime. And the song, okay, it's staged in a way that's very similar to how it was at Benidorm Fest, but that worked well, so there was no need to change it, really. It's going to be a real moment. How the public will respond, I don't know. This is no slow-mo. There's no saucy choreography here. Instead, we've got impeccable vocals and a woman gearing up for the archery at the Olympics in Paris next year. It's a really wonderful song, and I'm hoping she does really well. This is the Spanish Renaissance. You've just got to bask in it. Then we have Sweden. Winning, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Finland were rallying, but Sweden are absolutely miles ahead in the betting odds. It reminds me a bit of Duncan Lawrence a couple of years ago. He was so far ahead of the rest, and he won. And this year, so many people want Lorraine to win because she's won before and she'd do the double, first woman to win twice. The song is good, it's staged well, it looks so much more polished than many of the other performances. There's no doubt about it, it really does. The smoke, the sandwich that she's in, and then she's pushing the screen up. The Melfest performance was better, but this is still looking really fine. And the points will just pour in. The juries will absolutely love this. They will lap it up. And the public will also respond very warmly too. It could be all but over before the public votes even come in. If Finland are nowhere to be found, and Sweden are leading by 100 or so, I would call it then. It would be like the US presidential election. I would call it and say, Sweden declared winners. And I think a lot of other people would as well. Let's move on. Albania, song 10. Well, well, well. This is coming up on the rails. Powerful stuff. I thought it was performed quite nicely. We've got Fire. It's a family affair. This is Albania and the Kelmendi family with Duye. I don't really remember too much about it. I'm not sure it actually stands out a whole lot. But they've done a good job here. They've elevated it as they needed to from the Fick performance last year. Fick, with all due respect, so old-fashioned. At Eurovision, they've really polished it up, and it's looking and sounding pretty tight. I've got no complaints. Albania, again, doing the business at Eurovision. They're always underrated in the betting odds, and yet they have a habit of sneaking through. But usually, they finish about 18th. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case again for Albania this year. Song 11 is Italy. This is really lovely. And he's fairly high up in the betting odds. The juries, again, I'm thinking they could go big for this one, as they might well do with Switzerland, and certainly Sweden. It's Marco Mengoni. He's back with Due Vite. He's got dancers on stage with him, I think. Can't quite remember. Smoke. He's in this sort of sparkly, silvery vest outfit. I can't remember, really. But I like this song, always have. Maybe it's not quite up to the high standards that we've come to expect from the Italians. But there's really nothing bad about this whatsoever. It's a really solid ballad, and I think he's going to get a very respectable result tomorrow night. Song 12 is Estonia. So ballad followed by ballad. Interesting choice. It's Alika with Bridges for Estonia. This is just wonderful. I was so chuffed last night that this got through, because I really thought the public would absolutely shaft her chances of progressing. You've got the piano that plays itself. She's in this beautiful light blue outfit. Vocals absolutely wonderful, as they always have been. Will this stand out? A little bit. But it's right before Finland. It's right after Italy. There are so many more songs this year that are just going to pop out a little bit more to the neutral viewer, the neutral listener, or indeed, you know, the hardcore fans as well. This Estonian track, as nice as it is, may be forgotten about very, very quickly. That's my concern. But it is quality, and I'm glad it's in the final. Then we have Finland. Cha, 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 cha. Hold on to your pina coladas. This is Karja, of course. It would be just wonderful if this won. It really would, because it's in Finnish, and the energy is there. It's a striking outfit. The staging is very striking too. The crowd love it. There is so much momentum behind this song. It's my favourite of the year. 13 hopefully won't be unlucky on the night for him. And oh man, he is second with the betting odds, a distant second behind Sweden. So he is going to have to get a massive public mark, I think, to stand any chance of doing it. And he's also got to hope that Sweden probably get less than about 150 points in the public half of the results too, which I'm not sure will happen. You never know. You never know. 300 points plus 4 cha-cha-cha is entirely possible, but it still might not be enough. I've made a whole video talking about why Finland should perhaps win this year. You're very welcome to check it out if you haven't already done so. Then we have the Czech Republic kicking off the second half. Vesna, My Sister's Crown. I think this is in a spot of bother. Coming after Finland, coming before Australia, which stands out quite a bit more in my opinion. This Czech entry, to think, a few months ago, people were saying it could be a Eurovision winner. They're not saying that now. The vocals have been a bit hit and miss. Visually, I think it's okay, with the hands appearing on the backdrop. I just don't know whether this stands out enough. It's as simple as that. What more can I say? Then we have Australia. This was great last night. Closed the second semi-final. You've got pyro, you've got the car, you've got the energy. This time I think the camera angles were working quite well. In some of the performances this year, they're a bit hit and miss. I can give or take them. But last night, Australia's performance was looking really, really good and deserved to go through. That's exactly what happened. May well have won semi-final too. And it's a great song, and there'll be a lot of people who really enjoy this one tomorrow night, if they haven't heard it before. Then we have Belgium, Song 16. Well, this has come up on the rails like you wouldn't believe. The ultimate dark horse of 2023, Gustav, Really nice guy with a great set of pipes on him. This is Because of You. It is sort of camp 90s pop, but a lot of people will really enjoy that. And I think first-time listeners tomorrow night will absolutely gravitate towards this one because it feels very Eurovision-y, if you see what I mean. Credit where credit's due. I'm not a huge fan of the song. I like it a lot more now than I did a couple of weeks ago. No question about that. And he could do really, really well. He absolutely could. We can't rule out this song doing so much better than originally thought. Song 17 is Armenia. This is really nice. Again, a possible winner of last night's second semi. This is Brunette with Future Lover. She's on this slanted podium. There's this sort of watery, marbly effect all around her. Some of the camera angles, not too sure about, but the lighting, I think, works really well here. And she's got a great voice, wrote the song herself. There's a lot to like. I like the song a lot more than I did the first time I heard it. Still not one of my big favourites, but I'm expecting this to get a very respectful result indeed tomorrow. Then we have Moldova. Well, Moldova have a habit of punching above their weight at Eurovision. It's hard to say how well this one will do. I don't think a lot of people are really talking about this one. Pasha Parfeni is back. It's Soarele și Luna. He's having a good time on stage. It feels very otherworldly in a way, I suppose. And it's in Romanian. I don't really have much more to say about it. I think the performance is fairly good. We know that he can really deliver. I don't think Moldova need to worry about really struggling this year. Then we have Ukraine. Well, I'm shocked more people aren't saying that this could win. We all know what happened last year. Could it happen again? I don't think so, but I also wouldn't be shocked if we're going through the results and Ukraine get 300 plus. If that happens, not only will I be thoroughly disappointed, because the song, in my opinion, is nowhere near 300 points plus worthy, but I'll also realise that that has scuppered any chance of Finland maybe winning. Anyway, Heart of Steel by Tvorci. Vocally good, visually strong. I think this has really come along very well since Vidbeer months and months ago. It's not really my cup of tea, but I can appreciate it, and I'm sure I'll like it more once I've heard it in full tomorrow night and seen the performance in full too. This will get a good amount of love, but will it be enough to see Ukraine win again? I doubt it. And to be honest, it shouldn't win, because it is by no means the strongest song this year. That's just my opinion. We have Norway next, song 20, Quality. This is Alessandro with Queen of Kings. I've been watching her vlogs on her channel over the past few weeks. Really likeable. Probably my favourite artist of the year, actually. She's going on tour as well, which I'm interested in. This song is so good. The MGP performance, though, I have to say, probably better than what we had on Tuesday night. She doesn't look wholly comfortable on stage. Whether it's nerves, I really don't know. I just wished that she had loosened up a bit, had more of a smile on her face, as we saw at the MGP final. But the song is so catchy. It's really doing well on social media. That could play a part in this song's chances tomorrow night. I'm hoping that she at least finishes in the top 10, if not top 5. But any buzz that this song has, or had rather, a bit like Austria, it's sort of faded away at just the wrong time. Then we have Germany. Could Germany finish last again? I think it's possible, you know. They don't deserve to. This is Lord of the Lost with Blood and Glitter. Obviously a very heavy track, but also fairly accessible at the same time. We've got flames, we've got smoke, we've got interesting outfits, we've got strong vocals, and we've got good energy, and I think the crowd will really respond to this one. It is something very different from the Germans this year, something very welcome from Germany. You know, they needed to change something, and to go from rock stars to this, that's quite the whiplash effect, ladies and gentlemen. It's really good. But I do expect Germany to struggle again. What a shame. As for Lithuania, song 22, this is something a bit more mellow. Monica is back in the Eurovision final. She was there in 2015, of course. This is Stay. I think this is just lovely, but it doesn't stand out much. You know, it only happened last night when she was on stage. I don't really remember her performance. I know that she's a very good singer. I know that the song is very pleasant to listen to, and you've got that nice refrain towards the end. But ultimately, as I said about the Czech Republic, does this stand out quite enough? I'm not sure it does. Then we have Israel. This stands out enough. I think this is going to do very, very well. It is Noah Kirel, the pop star herself, with Unicorn. Yes, it's a bit of a messy song. Yes, there's a dance break just for the hell of it. Yes, the vocals maybe aren't that great. But who cares? Because this song is probably going to do very, very well. The juries, they might be a bit more lukewarm. The public, on the other hand, might look at this and think, oh yes, good-looking woman, decent pop song, she's rolling about on the floor. Yeah, have a few points, why not? That's a possibility, and there is quite a bit of momentum with this track, and it could work in her favour. She's got a cushy slot in the running order. Then we have Slovenia. I thought this was really good last night. Very dark. You know, I would have wanted a bit more colour to proceedings myself, but there we are. It's in the Slovenian language. Charisma. That's the best way to describe this song. Oozing charisma. They looked very confident on stage, as if it was a Joker Out concert and not Eurovision. I thought this was staged very simply but very nicely, and a lot of people will really, really love this. Will it be Slovenia's best ever result in Eurovision? I doubt it, but this is a real return to form, absolutely. And let's not forget, Slovenia, you know, no final for years until now, so Malta should look at this, Ireland should look at this. Who else? I pressed the wrong button. Malta, Ireland, Georgia, I suppose San Marino, Denmark, Latvia, absolutely. They should look at Slovenia and say, well, look, they're on course for their best result in years. They've turned it around a little bit. If they can do it, so can we. Really nice song, great band. A touch of the Maneskin about them, I would say. So promising signs. And then you've got Croatia. It's a really, really odd batch of songs to close the show. Croatia's song is all over the shop. It's all over the place. Lead singer apparently has been unwell. The vocals here don't matter one jot, because it's a chant, it's a sort of shout-along song. They strip off. Obviously it stands out for that. The song itself, yes, I know it's satire, but 99.9% of people watching tomorrow night will not give a toss that it's satire. They're just going to see a bunch of middle-aged men parading about in their underpants, and they will find it comical. And it will work in Croatia's favour, because this is going to get a lot of points. And we all need to be prepared for the possibility of this song finishing well above a lot of other fan favourites. It's as simple as that. It's just the sort of chaotic, bizarre Eurovision tune that's going to do really well, and then 5 years from now we'll be wondering how on earth it finished so high on the scoreboard. I like it more than I did, I will say that much. And then we have the UK. Oh my god. Can you smell that? That is burnt toast, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the UK's entry is this year. Absolutely burnt to a crisp. I'm sorry to say it, because I'm British, but this could be a disaster waiting to happen. Mae Muller's great, no doubt about it. She's great, very likeable, very enthusiastic, very positive. The song, credible. It's a decent follow-up to Spaceman. It's fairly contemporary stuff, exactly the sort of thing you'd hear on the radio, and the staging seems pretty cool too. However, the rehearsal clip did her no favours. I'm a bit wary about her vocals. She can sing, I will say that, absolutely. She can sing, but the pre-party performances, and indeed in the clip that I saw last night, I just wasn't convinced. And it's probably not her that's the issue. It's probably the sound stuff in the arena, the mixing, I don't really know. A few other acts have had issues with that over the past week or so. I'm just hoping it all comes together tomorrow night, because if we struggle, we could go back to square one next year. It could be right back to the dark old times here in the UK, and I'll tell you this, the media will be absolutely slagging off Eurovision again like you wouldn't believe if we struggle tomorrow night. You'll see it in the newspapers. Why do we even bother? Blah, 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 blah. Why do we even take part? Waste of money. Blah, blah, blah. Next year, oh, why don't we send Adele or something? We might do better. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. The media will turn just like that. Some of the media are already against May because of old tweets in which she criticised our former Prime Minister. I mean, for God's sake, Everybody criticised our former Prime Minister. May Muller was not the first one to do it. Anyway, long story short, I hope she does well, but I'm expecting fat disappointment, and she's coming after Croatia. And look, yes, the British entry probably should be getting more points, but what is Europe going to prefer? A guy with a moustache in his pants. There you go. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I want to make it very clear, I don't hate any of the songs in the final. It's a good batch, but clearly some performances are a cut above. And for me personally, I'm hoping Finland do the business. This has also reminded me that I should tell you, and I did mention this earlier in my previous video, I was on my local radio station, BBC Radio Northampton, this morning to talk a little bit about Eurovision. I will leave a link in the description, so check it out if you're at all interested. You may need a BBC account to listen to it, and how long it's going to be online for I don't really know. I'm also going to be, all being well, on the same radio station on Monday to talk about being in the Eurovision village. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But first, the prediction, and I will rattle through this. Each song has been given a mark out of 100 in various categories. The vocals, the staging, the betting odds, as of last night, the momentum that the song has, how many people are talking about it, how much buzz there is, what I think the public will do, what I think the jury will do, what I think will happen in the end, and then you work out the average mark. So, with that being said, this is the prediction. Bottom to top, last with an average mark of 60. Well, yes, an average mark of 66.4. Poland. Poland to finish last. That's not happening, is it? That's why I say don't take predictions too seriously. I've been making predictions for years, even before I started making YouTube videos, and what I will say to you is that I'm usually a few places out with every song. Occasionally I'll be 10 places out with a song, and occasionally I'll get the top 3 or top 4 correct, as was the case last year. So I predicted Poland to finish last. I could be completely wrong, or I could be a place or two out. It's as simple as that. Czech Republic to finish in 25th place with a score of 68.4. I think this could really struggle. I really do. Then we have Albania, 68.9. Then it's Estonia, which really pains me, with a score of 69.7. Then we have, it's actually Lithuania with a score of 70, and then it's Moldova with a score of 70. Then we have Germany with a score of 70.1, Cyprus 70.4, Croatia 70.6, I have a feeling they'll finish higher than that. Then we have Serbia 70.9, Portugal in mid-table with 71.1. Nice high mark for the vocals, but everything else not quite as stellar. This was made before the running order was released, I should say. Then we have Slovenia with a score of 73.3. Switzerland, not too far away from the top 10, with a score of 74.1. He's benefited from a very healthy, possible high jury mark. Belgium, 75.6. Australia 76.6, and then we have the United Kingdom in 11th place with 77.3. I don't think the jurors will hate this. They will like it more than the public. We'll see. Let's move into the top 10. In 10th place with 78.1 is Austria. I think that's fair. Ukraine in 9th. That would be completely respectful. I have a feeling they're going to do a hell of a lot better. 78.6. Then we have Italy, 79.9. Not much to fault. Great vocalist. Staging seems fairly pleasant. Juries will like him. Public won't hate him. Top 10 finish possible for Italy yet again. Then we have Armenia. Their best result in years could be incoming. 81.3. Norway with 81.4. And then we have the top 5. Israel in 5th. It's possible. 82.3. We know the juries don't mind a slick song. We saw it with Spain last year. Then we have France in 4th with a score of 87.9. However, let's not forget, France were one of the big favourites coming into the 2019 contest with Bilal Hassani at the helm, and he finished nowhere. And Madame Monsieur in 2018, one of the big favourites, finished nowhere. France in mid-table this year? It could happen, I wouldn't be surprised, but really this should be up there, getting a lot of points. In third place, Spain, 88.1. How about that? Vocals great, staging good, loads of people love it. I don't know. It's ended up in third place. That leaves two countries. Second is Finland, 89. And the winner, 92.7 for Sweden. I mean, I can't kid myself anymore. Sweden have one hand on the trophy, and they have done for months. Absolutely. Unless the juries, for some reason, are quite loving Tattoo, Sweden will win the jury vote, possibly by a mile, and the public points will be enough to see her triumph, possibly by a margin of at least 100 points, if not 110, 120. We will soon find out. Finland finishing second is, you know, that would be absolutely fantastic if that happens. But I also think there would be a bit of disappointment here. It would feel like a missed opportunity to have a song win in a language. We've never had a Finnish language song win before. And we've never had a song like Cha 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 win before. There may be the feeling that if Tattoo wins, it's a bit too similar to Euphoria. You'll get people who say that. You've already got people saying that. And years down the line, you may get more people saying Cha 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 was the real winner, etc, etc. Anyway, Sweden to win, Finland second, Spain third, Poland last. That's the prediction. Now, as my voice is starting to hurt, I'll be very brief and talk about tomorrow. There will be no video from me tomorrow. That's because I'm going to be on the pier head in the Eurovision village with my good friend Peter. The plan is to get some footage for a vlog, which will then be pieced together and may surface on my channel within the next week or two, but no guarantees. I will also be taking as many photos as I can on my digital camera and on my friend's phone, and they will be on my social media page, but after tomorrow night. I'm not even going to be online at any point tomorrow, unless it's on my friend's phone to check the football scores. Hopefully we're both going to have a great time. I think we're both a little bit uneasy about it. Not really badly uneasy about it, but it's just because it's something different. Lots of people. We don't really know exactly what the atmosphere is going to be like or what to expect. But it's Eurovision. I'm a big fan. My friend likes it more than he did as well. He knows the songs at the very least. And I really can't thank him enough. Really can't thank him enough, because I was never going to be able to do this by myself, so he is sort of my support for the day. It's going to be a long day. We are coming back straight afterwards. It is a fleeting trip to Liverpool. I highly doubt it, but if any of you are going to be in Liverpool, and specifically in the Eurovision village tomorrow from 2 o'clock, you're very welcome to say hello to me, and I'll say hello back and we can have a little bit of a chat. I'll be there with my little sheet of paper to see if my predictions are somewhat accurate or not. I'll be looking up at the big screen, seeing, oh dear, what a disgrace that is. And hopefully I'll be filming my reaction to the public half of the results as they come in. No guarantees, though. Hopefully there will be some footage, and that's really all I have to say. Apparently the bag that I've got will be okay to take into the village. I can't imagine they're going to kick up a fuss. If they do, then, well, fists will be flying. No, I'm joking. We'll see. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. No video from me tomorrow. The next time you see me will probably be at the start of next week, in which I review the entire contest, and then I might make a separate video talking about my experience in Liverpool. All being well, I'll be on my local radio station again on Monday anyway. I'll share a link to that on my social media pages, and I will share a link to the bit of the radio that I was on this morning in the description of this video. Like I said, you might need a BBC account to listen to it, and how long it will be online for, I don't know, but it's there if you want to check it out. My voice is killing me. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Sweden to win, Finland second, Spain third, and Poland last. How accurate that is, we will soon find out, because it's nearly upon us. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching and all of the support lately. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. And if you happen to be in Liverpool, I'll see you there. Bye for now. Take care.